Let's first figure out, there are some contentions here. Our education system is not to be blamed. It's ourselves, it's our mindset, it's our skills. And where would the skills come from? That's also a question. And do you think our skills should be pursued outside of our education system? And what are we even doing in the education system for the last 10, 15 years if the skill is not provided in the education system? Why are we spending time, money, everything? So, Kekrino, yeah, so she had said that it's blame game is not good. And so that in her sense, maybe I can also conclude that she will not be even blaming the government for that. It comes down to individual as well. So is there anyone who would maybe slightly differ from what she says or what she stated, or would disagree with her statement? Is there anyone? The floor is open to you. Hi, before we jump into the next conversation, here's a quick announcement. This show today is sponsored by NPS and Tours, and they are organizing a very interesting competition which is called Inkspire. And with this Inkspire initiative, they're proposing for students who would like to take part in a competition, essay writing competition on the topic 25 years of Hornbill Festival. Critically examine its success and failures. So if you participate in this essay writing competition, if you win, there's a prize, huge prize for the winner. That is 30,000 rupees plus a trophy plus certificate. And for runners-up, there's a price range of 10,000 rupees and plus 5,000 rupees plus certificate. So it looks like there are, multiple runners-up will be selected from this essay writing competition. And who can apply for this? Who can participate in this competition? This Inspire is open to all students currently pursuing degree courses from any college in Nagaland. And look, that means first, second, and third year college students, which is in the graduation, meaning in the graduation, and students must have a valid college ID card for claiming the prize. So this is going to be a very interesting competition, and the topic is extremely pertinent and relevant in our society at this moment. So I would like to encourage everyone to participate here, and even if you don't win, you will have the ability to, or you'll develop the ability to write and think critically on the current issue of what's happening in society. More details will be mentioned whether in the comment section or in the description. Please check it out if you participate. Hello everyone, welcome to the Lungleng show. Today we have one special show, the first of its kind. This is known as debate or discussion with the young students from 10 different colleges here in Kohima. So we have invited one person each, one student each, one brilliant and smart student each from every college. We have representatives from 10 colleges, but that doesn't mean they're representing their college. They're coming here to speak their own mind because we want to understand what the young people are thinking on many issues. And we need to understand the thoughts and the aspirations that they have and their way of understanding and perceiving on things, issues around us. So first of all, we have selected two topics, and rather I would say two claims. The first claim is Nagaland does not lack employment opportunities. That's the first claim that we're making. We want to hear from them what they're thinking of that, whether they will agree with this claim or whether they will not agree with it. And we will hear why they're not agreeing with this and why they're agreeing with this claim at the same time. These are the topics that we have chosen for today's discussion, one of its first kinds, and we need to hear what our young people are thinking because young people are future. They are policymakers of tomorrow and they're the decision making for a future of our society. So I'm glad that they have all come here to have this discussion, and I'm sure you all will enjoy this conversation and hear from them what they are really thinking of these issues. So thank you all for joining in this conversation, and I would like to call upon Mr. Yongo Heskonyak to begin with in this conversation. Please have your seat. Yeah, come close to the mic and kindly introduce yourself. Quick.
Well, my official name is Yongo Heskonyak, and I'm from Oriental College. And I'm from Department of Political Science.
That was your UAB? Which study?
Fourth semester.
Fourth semester. Great.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. And you was sitting here and have a conversation like this was very important. So the claim is, first of all, that Nagaland does not lack employment opportunities. What's your view?
In my perspective, I'm totally disagreed.
You don't?
We lack a lot.
Okay. You lack a lot of opportunities, economic opportunities.
Then in terms of opportunity and in terms of employment, we lack a lot.
Okay.
See, comparing the number of educators and the number of posts for the employment is totally different in our Nagaland. So when we see about the history or the history,
Yeah.
the reason, just for reason we have the advertise about the forest guard just for 150 posts, more than 30,000.
Mm.
There, which
What's
is the,
put it on? Are you serious?
yes, I heard all the information on you. So we did folks, when we see, and same goes to the MPAC and NSSB, when we hear about the news and so on,
Yes.
more than 70,000 youth unemployment crisis are facing a lot problem due to their facilities or state facilities due to their materials that our government provide is still less in my perspective.
Okay.
For fun faith, I would say that most of the parents, they taught their children about their education system. Like when they entered them, like they went to school like for climbing the mountain, crossing the river. Like
Yeah.
for that though, for now onwards, it has become to the youth time. For youth, in order to get an employment, we have to face a lot of struggle, like a lot of zigzag work. For them though, when they, even if they graduate, when we see the history, when we heard the history or history, like even if they go through the education system till class 2 also, the government, when our state is foundation, they need a lot of employment and so on, right? They even if they went to school till class 2 also, they just provide the job and so on. But for now, it's become totally different.
So you're coming at this from the point of view from the government job set.
But this is just any other thought of the private sector.
For the private sector, in some place,
Yeah.
in some, like most parents prefer the private sector. But when we see about our whole Nagaland, we are from political issue, we have separate in different. In private school, in some places, it's totally different. Like the facility in the private, due to the lack of facility, teachers, some parents, they are not sending their children in private school, but they prefer in the government. But in some place, and even in the Kohima and so on, when we see about the government materials and so on, the private school and colleges, they're going more further.
I think your point is well taken. Your shares is data statistics, 30,000 certificates for 5 jobs, 5 positions.
154 posts.
Or what if forest company? Okay, sorry. Okay, that's a lot. That's good indicator that employment opportunity is. That's implementing. It's going down. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a little while. So next, I would like to call on Hinitoli Ekima. Thank you. Yeah, we'll further the discussion. Okay, ready. This is a good.
So hello, my name is Kihitoli Ekiho. I am currently pursuing my Bachelor of Arts from Baptist College, Kohima, and I am in 6th semester.
Oh.
So I am here to claim that Nagaland does not lack employment opportunities. And why is that? Because I believe it is our mindset that has limit us to potential avenues. See, we are only looking for government jobs from the moment. I believe as I am going to graduate now, I'm about to graduate. By the month of May, I'll be done with my exams. So I'm about to graduate, and now we feel the pressure. I think every young person in Nagaland feel that pressure. We are being questioned. After you graduate, there are just 2 options: further studies or government job. Yeah. Do you want to go for your further studies, or do you want to take coaching classes? Those are the only 2 questions asked to us. And just say I mentioned I want to start a business. The only thing they're gonna say is, you got a degree just to start a business. Nah. And like if we say it in Nagamis, apni to iman puri thakshe business krole. That is what they're gonna question us. And I think this has, limit our mindset, and this has our society and our education system has made us believe that success is measured in government jobs. But I believe no, success is not measured in government jobs. And if we look at the data, not only in Nagaland but 2 to 3% employment opportunities are in government sector in the entire of India, just 2 to 3%. But the demand for the government job is very high, as you know. So I think it's high time we break this chain, we break this stereotype and go for entrepreneurship or other businesses, I actually was participated in a business plan competition, though I did not win recently. And while doing that, I researched on a lot of business that might flourish in Nagaland, and one such was urban farming. Because 70% of our people are farmers. But we are still dependent on other states like Assam and West Bengal for 80% of our vegetables. Just think, 70% farmers, 80% dependent on other states.
I would say 90% of that's in consumption, right on the siders. But what would you say to your, it's the previous speaker who say that Nagaland lack employment opportunities because he gives the data for 150 jobs, 30,000 in case.
See, that I would say that they are just looking at the wrong place, Government job is not the only option. We have lots of, and employment doesn't mean you have to be employed by someone, right? We have to create opportunities for ourselves and for those coming behind us as well. I think it's time we create our own jobs. We create a new avenue, create jobs for people, employ them ourselves. It doesn't mean people have to employ us and we have to get employed. That is not the only opportunity we're seeking here. Nagaland, in the business sector, we have a lot of opportunities so far because our people do not explore. And I would like to say that Nagaland definitely does not lack employment opportunities.
Thank you. That's a wonderful thought. You have defined employment. Employment doesn't necessarily government sector. It could be self-employment as well. Actually.
Yes.
Thank you for defining that. We'll get back in a little while. Now we'll have the third speaker. Thank you, Kihidoli. That's an amazing point. Third speaker, Mr. Walunir Jamir. Yes, sir. Good day. This was.
Okay, so my name is Lungleng Engineer. I'm currently in my 6th semester, BA. My department is Political Science, and I'm from Water Christian College.
So what's your thought on the claim that Nagaland is not like employment opportunities?
Okay, so I understand why people may feel that Nagaland lacks employment opportunities because given the data and statistics that we can see from the recent years, it is evident that unemployment rates are rising and many youths, educated youths, are still jobless. So looking at those statistics, it is quite easy to assume that there are no jobs. However, according to me, I think the main issue is not the lack of jobs, but it is our mindset. Like our previous sister has mentioned, it is our mindset about what employment should look like. And this is also closely connected with our education system. So for such a long decades, we have been conditioned to see that government jobs are the ultimate goal. It is the most rewarding goal. It is the job with the most prestige or status. So because of this, as a result, we have overlooked from other alternative opportunities. And moreover, our education system, in a way, reinforces this narrative by focusing primarily on, say, academic marks rather than skill development. So as a result of that, many of students are graduating without the practical skills and adaptability that are needed for these diverse career paths. When we look at some general examples today in Nagaland, we have entrepreneurs that are proving that innovation and self-employment is also a viable path. We are seeing a lot of expansion and success in the agribusiness as well. We are also seeing success story in fashion with digital marketing as well as remote jobs. So the reason is, as I mentioned, how it is closely connected with our education system. Many of these graduates are highly qualified on paper, but they don't necessarily have the practical skills, to to
Ready for the industry, right?
to be ready for the industry and to apply it in real world.
So there's a policy in Thai is everyone is made to deal,
Yeah.
and at the same time, not everyone is going to be successful to be donors. Without the market, so what's the part of that?
So, okay, my approach is not that entrepreneurship should be the only goal or should be the only,
It's not or it is.
no. It should not be.
It should not.
Yeah, it should not be the only thing that we Naga should aim for. Of course, government jobs are there. Government jobs are really good,
Right.
but we should also not just focus on that.
That's
There,
opportunity.
there are also alternative opportunities like entrepreneurship where we innovate, we look at the problems of people and we try to solve it. And through that, we create something where we can employ people. And there's also businesses and other remote jobs. I mean, even this, we are seeing a lot of YouTubers recently, and this is also a very, successful YouTube show. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. It is just that people should be willing to,
Correct.
explore the career paths. They should be willing to involve themselves in certain areas of jobs as well as develop the relevant skills that are necessary for that.
Okay, that's point is well taken. But what if you after graduating from masters or spending thousands of rupees from your parents, taking a rent and staying there, and your parents supply you, sending you money every month, and you graduate as a master student, and then you decide, moment that I want to become a content creator on YouTube.
Okay.
So like our previous speaker Gaitoli say, after studying all of that, you want to become a YouTuber. How will be your response as a person, as an individual?
If someone would say that to me,
Yes. Suppose you want to become that as a content creator.
okay.
So you have completed your master, and your parents invested thousands of money, rupees, into your career, into your studies, and now you decided, no, I want to become a content creator. And all of a sudden you'll be like, volunteer. After studying so much and dealing so much problem financially to your parents, you just want to become a YouTuber. That's a societal pressure that's going to come. How will you respond to that as an individual?
Okay, so I'll speak on 2 points. The first one, our society, right? Our Naka people, we have this mindset ever since we were kids. While going to education, while going to schools, we've been kind of like, as I mentioned before, conditioned to see government jobs as the most, prestigious jobs. So we are kind of led by our parents in that pathway. So because of that, we are forced to, well, I wouldn't really say forced, but a lot of us, we don't know what we want to do, right? So because of that, now we'll see where it goes, we'll see where the flow takes. So because of that mindset, a lot of these students are just continuing their studies. So I think on an individual level also, we should realize what we really want to do, and whether if this numerous education that we're undertaking, this going to masters, maybe trying for PhD, all this, is it really something that you wish to go through? And whether by the end of the tunnel is the goal that you're achieving going to be achieved through this? Because a lot of times a lot of precious time are wasted on masters, and because a lot of people, they're not really we see a lot of people with a lot of degrees, and they're still jobless. So yeah, I would say that.
Thanks for raising your point, Jeff, and we'll get back to you later.
Thank you.
Now we'll have our next speaker, Shamba Fong. Really, could you introduce yourself for our piece?
Hello, sir. My name is Samba of Kuiva Science College. I'm currently pursuing my MSc in Mathematics for fourth semester.
Okay. Listen, Alexis. So, other than pursuing the government job, employment in the government sector, what else are you going to do? Because the claim is nothing does not like opportunities. What is your stance on that?
Okay, other than a government job, what
And what is your stance on the claim that this Nagaland does not like employment opportunities?
Okay, sir. First of all, I'm very huge fan of you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, since I'm from this department, I don't have much knowledge on that, but being a youth of this Nagaland, I will just give my opinion on that, not from the proof or not from my own perspective.
Raw.
Okay. I would not. I would support the statement that Nagaland does not lack job opportunity. Most viewers, they might not agree with me. Those who are preparing continuously for their exam, but I would like to go with the statement. I don't that Nagaland does not lack with a job opportunity. If you I support this statement because if you look the recent labor force survey of 2024 to 2025, Nagaland is one of the highest, maybe second highest of unemployment, educated unemployment youth. And that itself is testament that Nagaland is really lacking in job opportunity. But we should also keep in mind that government cannot provide job to each and every educated youth. Because we, the Naga, from the recent estimate of Director of Art from the Economic and State, we have a population around 22 lakhs. Out of 22 lakhs, 7,000 plus apply for the government job. But annually, it is only 600 to 700 jobs is offered to the people of uneducated. So, if you look carefully, and it is a fact that that government cannot provide job to each and every individual. So, my question to your second question, I will add up here. Is, because of that reason, that government cannot provide. That is a fact. So we should not opt for only the government job, but we should opt for other, like our sister has mentioned about the entrepreneurship. But if we cannot just simply come and tell that you should go for the business because we need financial support. So, and yeah, for that, even the government should take initiative. Yeah, there are many fund like my Chief Ministry Micro Finance Initiative taken by our government, but our people, the Naga people, are not aware of that. And plus more, there should be more introduced of fund to encourage the youth, because rather than becoming a job seeker, we can become a job creator.
That's nice. Now I want to bring it to you one way, one perspective. You are a mathematics student.
Yes.
You know, even if everyone among you is unemployed, you can still self-employ yourself by doing tuition, coaching, as serving as a teacher. So it makes sense when you say Nagaland does not lack opportunities. But for some others, it can be left with this. As a political science student, as a sociology student, what kind of business are they going to pursue? That's something we need to really think about, right? So for yourself, great. What about for other students who are pursuing sociology and political science? What skills will they have other than knowing what is government and what is constitution?
Okay, so regarding the question, business and entrepreneurship is not only the option. We have other way to explore in Nagaland. We can promote tourism in Nagaland, or because if you look India, and if you compare with other country like India in Kerala or India in Nagaland, the state itself is like a country because we have a variety of culture, religion. So we can opt for tourism. In Nagaland, usually the tourism is promoted only for a few weeks. That is 1 week, 2 weeks. That also during on Hornbeat. So we should emphasize on that more. Tourism can be promoted, and one option is sports. Nagaland youth are really good at sports, so we should promote sports. Like infrastructure will be looked into it, and individual support will be given to the government should take those who are good in sports and support them. In Nagaland, we support not the people, we support the game. Because in India, if you look carefully, we support the cricket, not the people. The byproduct, it is the byproduct that we support the cricket. We support the cricket, and that will become the byproduct.
Players.
Yeah, not the players.
So it's okay. It makes sense that we can promote this, we can do this, but have people done that? Has it been possible so far?
That,
in your opinion?
That what I think is this.
Look at the sportsmen around you. Look at the businessmen around you. Look at the entrepreneurs who are exploring in tourism around you. Have they been successful? Equal as good as those who crack EAC, those who crack ITSC. Have they been successful? From your opinion. Would like to go to any talent, just your role.
And what just is one thing. What is our what is if I do a government job and if I'm not giving my best to, if I don't love the job, then what is the use of doing it? May I may get salary, but I may not contribute to the society. For example, if you take about the education system of our Nagaland, it is only about learning to know Learning to know is like breathing a book. Yeah, that is what our culture follow. But we miss two most ingredient. Most that is learning to do and learning to know. So learning to do is like we know, but we have to put into real life. And after learning to do, we have to learning to live. We have to make life out of it. So if we love something, we have to do that too. Because whether if you earn money or not, you will. I believe that if you really love something, if you are doing with your whole heart, you will at least earn your daily basis.
Thank you. I mean, you have at least shed light that our education system is most theoretical and it lacks skill as some of your predecessor, the previous speakers have mentioned. Thank you. We'll get back on in the next round. And now we have next one, the fifth speaker is Nelki Punya. You close the microphone so that our viewers can hear what you say. So you kindly introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Niki Konyak. I'm from Government Polytechnic Kohima, currently pursuing my civil engineering at 4th semester.
The first semester. Oh, very great. Nice to technical studies here as long as. So what's your stance on that? Not only does not lack employment opportunities. What's your stand?
In my opinion, I feel it's neutral, but when it comes to the reality, that Nagaland does lack opportunity because there is limited industry, high dependence on government jobs. People are more into that government service where people are getting competitive instead of looking to the private sector that they can even to by themselves. Where they cannot, in my opinion, I feel like they can't stand, and lack of investment. As there's limited industry, they are lacking of investment where people can't are hesitating to invest the resources. And when we come to the reality, I feel like there is not enough job employment. We are lagging behind for the employment of job, and I feel like there is no skill-based education in our institute. And at one point where we can stand, where it doesn't like, we can say that I can see from my own college, I can see there are many, like we have fashion technology. The people there, they earn their own money. They learned through that. They graduate from my college and then they started building their own business. They become designer. They own by themselves. And I have seen computer science engineering by doing their own technical thing, by making robotics or any new technology. They invent new thing and they start their business. And I have seen
You've seen successful people doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, that means in other way Nagaland does not like.
Yeah, at one point they doesn't like.
But at the same time Nagaland lacks one.
One point they do like.
So in the government sector you mean to say Nagaland lacks employment opportunities?
Yes, they do like.
In the private sector, in entrepreneurship, people still are successful doing all of that.
Yes.
So your stand is like be very categorized, right? So how about overall in general? Because why in general? You know what? Because there were reported like last year that 72,000 educated youths registered as unemployed. But where will they go? Right? How will you path there?
Okay, when it comes,
You could be one of them, maybe in future.
Yeah.
I could be one of them. Right?
Yes. When it comes to gender, I feel like they are lagging behind because they're staying in under one roof. They're not able to get the knowledge outside the roof that even they can do it. That there is employed, that they can do self-employed, but they only depend, as I've said, dependent on the government job. They only depend on the government job, thinking that because it's very competitive, not everyone is able to get through that competitive exams. And then, as there are limited industries in our own state, we are facing of job opportunities.
Okay. Thank you. I think you have categorized it in such a way that in this area we lack, in this area we don't lack. So overall, we don't lack in general.
Yeah, we don't lack.
We don't.
It just depends on us.
Okay, it depends on us. So you agree with the claim that Nagaland does not lack on employment opportunities, right? Okay, thank you so much. That's a very fair for me, I would say. Yeah. So we'll get back in the next. Yeah. Now we have the sixth speaker. We have Vika Jishi.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello, my name is Vika Chishi, and I'm currently pursuing my Bachelor of Computer Application in first semester in Delhi.
Lily, right? Okay, so what's your stance in the claim that Nagaland does not like employment opportunities?
For me, like, I would say, looking back at the, 5 years, the latest BLFS, which is theoretical level for review, the employment rate have been decreased from the year 2021 to till 2025. In the year 2021, the employment rate was 25.7% something. And it further declined till 2024. It further declined, till 2022, it declined to 4.3% something. And yeah, it's so sudden, but it jumped up to 7.7% in last year, 2024. So yeah, for me, I would agree on that regarding the topic, Nagaland does not like employment opportunities.
You will agree.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's declining. Employment rate is unemployment rate is declining, or unemployment?
The unemployment rate.
Unemployment is declining.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, for me, even many young people are now engaging in entrepreneurship and opening new avenues for jobs rather than relying on government jobs. And also the government have introduced skill development programs and startup schemes, and also the infrastructure projects to boost the job creations. Yeah, and I would say Nagaland has had immense potentials for in various sectors such as agriculture and all, and handicrafts and ITs, and also the tourism. So if properly developed, then the employment opportunities can be great.
Okay. That's a good tactic for clearly lay up your stance. Nothing does not like preferring fortuneness because everyone else is surviving it, trying what it eat you apart from everyone as well. Yeah, it's your say. Okay, we come back with the more pressing wishes for us follow of that. We'll have the seventh speaker, Jigadu. Yeah. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Chudatur Situbitor, and currently pursuing my Bachelor of Arts in Pema College, Kohima, from 6th semester.
6th semester. Yes. Okay, you're about to graduate, right?
Yes.
So now, as an art student, what employment opportunities are you seeing? Do you agree with the fact, with the claim that Nagaland does not like employment opportunities? If you agree with that stance, with that claim, then you're sure that you're going to get employment opportunities after you graduate, finish your bachelor. So now this is I want to hear your thoughts.
Since this conversation is about speak your mind,
Right.
so in regard to this, I have two thoughts. One will be it does lack, and at the same time it does not.
Okay.
That's why, because if we look to the young entrepreneur, the people around the Nagaland, how they have succeeded through self-employment. And then for us Naga people, we only depend on government job. And I believe that government job is not the only thing that we should look forward. It depends on oneself. We were taught in the college, we were taught in the school, after learning, we should not keep, but instead we should promote those. Only then, coming back to self-employment, we can employ ourselves. And then for those people who are very much interested in government service and government job, they can go. But it depends on the skill, whether they are hardworking or not, whether they are given the 100% or not. So that's it. And then again, another thing is the government should provide proper infrastructure, and then so that young people like us, or young people who have graduated and then still they are unemployed, can grab the opportunities, and then they can create their own opportunities. Opportunity is something that people don't bring and then give to you, but it is ourselves who create almost and then how we execute.
Okay, but your stance still, your stance on this still stands that Nagaland lacks employment opportunity at the sense that it doesn't lack.
Yes,
It depends on the, let's say, the will of the people to do something.
yes,
But I would like to challenge you on that because I have water right now,
yes,
so I don't lack water.
yes,
So, but you are saying that if you don't drink, you lack water.
yes,
If I drink, I don't lack water, right?
yes.
Now, keeping that in mind, actually, in fact, I don't lack water right now because I have water. So, based on that, without being diplomatic, does Nagaland really lack employment opportunity?
See, the only question is, the only answer to this question is, do we learn when we earn? Or do we learn and then do we promote or not?
Okay.
So, I think that is the only thought I should say.
Okay.
So, when we learn, we promote. And then when we earn, that too we promote. So, we should know how to balance both at the same time. So, yeah, that's
So,
all.
one last question. Every day I'm saying how some hundreds and thousands of students like you, WREC students, art students, social trust students, what the limbo? Don't do anything. Now, are you sure that your employment after you graduate this year will depend on your willingness to be employed? Because you say if you're willing and if you're doing the things, you'll be employed. So, are you sure of yourself that you will not face any unemployment issue in your life after this?
Yes, I should say that. Yeah, employment is something like, it's not about government job, like I've mentioned earlier. And then it's not about you getting paid from any source. But depending on one's individual, if you can rear a pig, come on, you go for that. If you're good in sports, you go for that. And then if you're good at studying, and then like to go for those NPCs, give it paid to it, then go for them.
Okay.
So
Thank you. Thank you.
it depends on one's individual, and then we should know how to balance that as content.
Right. Everyone comment does not like the movement of fortune.
No,
Perfect. So I think we'll get back on that, okay?
thank you.
And now we have number 8, Kagito Obi.
Hello, sir. I'm Kagito Kiaomi, currently pursuing my Bachelor of Arts from St. Joseph College, Tunmuse Hama. I'm on my 4th semester, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Great to be here with you also. What's your stance on Nagaland likes employment project? Does not like yourself.
For this question, I should say it's a very rhetorical question among the people. And no society is perfect actually. Like, even the current US, the superpower, which we consider, they have some loopholes, same as like ours. But there's a data which we can shift. And the perspective which I make and I want to assume is that we Naga people were step way ahead before picking up the importance of grassroots level. It is the grassroots level which we lay. And that one perspective which I can say is that the way we do and the way we look on the government job, and also the way we lack skill in private sector also. But one of the things where most of the people claim that we lack employment opportunities, if that's the case, then my point is, why all the other people from our state, like Bihar, UP, or the illegal immigrants, which we consider, why do they will and they always want to come to our state and settle here? That's one of the question. And also, the other question is that most of our youths, which I presume today, and I notice is that they used to go to other parts of the state and employ themselves in restaurants and stuffs. Why not in our own state? That's also the other question. And also, when speaking about the private sectors, we, the youth, especially taking an example of, we look down, we Nagas, we have too much standard, I should say. And we look down on people. If not, when talking about earning and stuffs, people like, even today, I went to one of the cobbler, and what I had a conversation with him is that a cobbler with one shoe, within 5 minutes, he can earn more than 120 or 150 with a small stitch. The thread, which does not even cost 10 rupees and stuffs. That's the way we should look the perspective. We should not always maintain our high standard, but also the youths and the people of Nagas, we should start from the grassroots level itself. And that starts from our education also. What I presume is. And also, like, all thanks to the Britishers and also the Christian missionaries who brought modernization to us during the late 80s or the 20th century. If not, what I presume is that if modernization doesn't brought to the Nagas by the foreigners, would we even have the knowledge to make a single thread by ourselves? That's the question. So like, we like to live like a Westerners, foreigners, but our mentality is too low. And we expect our parents to come into our mentality. That's not the, we should start from our own.
That's a good point. We prefer only the white collar job.
Yes.
Like the blue collar job, no one wants to do that. But who will want to do it after going to university for decades?
Yes.
Who would like to go back to the blue collar job? You could have just gone directly to the blue collar job employment without even going to the university and save up all your tuition fees that you have spent on universities.
Yes.
And invest that. Right? So what's the point of going to university if you are ready to do blue collar job? So how do you like to go to these?
That's really a good question, I should say. Like, but it also, that perspective, it comes from our parents as well. Since we are born, we landed on this planet or this land, we are asked to go to school. We are asked to pursue our education till then, and we are still doing it now.
Yeah.
Any
goal.
For our lifetime, we are pursuing it. And so, what I also presume our society is that the children, they lack the freedom of expression to express to their parents and to convince them. And also, our parents and the elders should also like not always have the perspective of white collar job. That's our which should be our only perspective. But there should be an ample area where a person could earn. Because to me, like success, and employment and unemployment is also somewhat linked with success. So what, according to my definition of success, is that being a successful person doesn't mean that we have to have a luxurious house, a fast cars, be a millionaire or billionaire, but we should be satisfied of what we are doing. That's one of the perspective I would like to make. But one which I really would like to point out to the youths of today is that we lack vision. We lack vision, and as I've said, we act like we wear thousands and thousands of price tags in our body. The shoes, the trousers that cost thousands with brands. We like to pursue the Western countries. Our mentality is too low. On the other hand, we always, most of the youths today, which I presume, they're always into the phones and playing mobile games and stuff. But on the other hand, tomorrow, what is going to be our future? That's I'm worried.
Okay, so are you ready to take up any blue collar job also after you finish your graduation? Situation arise?
I'm a student,
Yeah.
and I'm a dreamer. I have a vision, I have a goal in life, and I'm ever ready to work hard to achieve that goal.
But I guess you're also wearing an expensive watch, are you?
Not that expensive.
Well, that's very powerful thoughts. Thanks so much for sharing that. And with that, we'll jump to the next speaker, number 9. Yes. Kikupilot Sika, please. Maybe you can yourself.
Hello, my name is Kipo Jessica, and currently I am pursuing my master's second semester with my major in English at Nagaland University. Thank you for having us, sir.
Wonderful. So you have been pursuing English, and it's a language.
Yes.
It's a language, or it's the literature, right?
Yes.
And you know that it doesn't involve that, let's say, industrial skill as such. And the skills involved with literature are not, other than teachings, other than writings and few stuff, I think compared to with other sector of education, it can be challenging. So what is your book?
First of all, your claims for that my major that is English, it's quite a narrow way to see it, but then there are so much more to there are so many much more prospects to it, but if I get into it, it's a long story again. So, but back to our topic.
Yeah.
So Nagaland, I do stand by the claim that Nagaland does not lack employment opportunities. There are several factors to consider here. The first one being the apparent one, as many of my fellow mates have already stated, that is the certain kind of fascination or obsession with government jobs. And it's fine. There's nobility in it. It's if you get it, it's good. But another factor to consider here is from a practical viewpoint, I should say. That is the inability to connect skills or interests with aspirations. If we look at statistics in our context, Nagaland, we find that our literacy rate is very high, 79.55% if I'm not mistaken. But this high literacy rate is coupled with high unemployment rate. And earlier, as Sir you have stated, the Department of Employment and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has recorded 72,000 educated unemployed youths.
Registered.
Yes.
That would be more.
Yes, exactly. There could be more. So the question remains, why is this happening? So for me, I believe that it's the inability to connect our skills with aspirations. And here, many agencies can play a vital role, but I believe that education can play a very vital role in providing platforms, providing guidelines for students, learners to get a prospect on how to connect their skills with aspirations. Because truth remains, for some, mainstream education is a main quest, but for majority, mainstream education just remains a side quest. Because for them, that sort of education, it's not their aptitudes, abilities, and their caliber is not meant for that area. So that is my stance.
Okay, so the education system is partly to be blamed.
I think we should not play the blame game, sir. And then we should start small, baby steps. We usually go 100 miles at once, going for dramatic changes, dramatic solutions. I think we should start at small, and then education being a very playing a very important role in all of our lives is pervasive. So I believe that we should start small and foundational stage, from the very foundational stage of education. I believe that this platform or whatever.
If education system is not to be blamed, partly, then tell me how the only person students after completing master can avoid himself or herself other than writing a NET exam for further study, other than going for teaching and writing DC or a DC exam. What else? What for ET? Just put yourself into your own shoes. The students, what portion you have, what else portion be?
That's a good point, sir. But I will still stand by my claim. We should not play blame games, because once we start playing blame games, we become further detached from the solution to come with a solution. But we play the blame game again and again. So my stance it remains the same. Mistakes have been done. Good. Okay, you have your 12, 15 years of degree, and then right now you're taking whatever major it be, and then right now you're in a dilemma which path to choose or to take. But it's never too late. It's a cliche to say this now, but if you started late, no problem. Now is the right time to start again. So I think we should really navigate our way in that prospects.
So start again as pursuing or learning new skills.
Yes. The door is always open.
And not start the whole degree from Bachelor of Arts first year again to start study properly the not in essence, right? To pursuing new skills to be able to be employable.
Yes.
Like so in case now let's take your case. You're a master student, English. Master, right?
Yes, sir.
So what else are you going to do as a master student if you're about to carry for a government exam? To learn writing for UCSC or all this other than teaching?
I think I should say, by the grace of God, I have been more or less become quite aware of my aspirations, and I believe that I am on the right path, on right track. Of course, I do not say this for everyone. It's different for everyone. But for me personally, and for the likes of me, people like me, once we have a clear aspiration, once we have connected our skill with that aspiration, there's no problem to move forward with that plan.
So that's interesting. It's clear for sharing your views openly and honestly. I think we will definitely get back to you on that. So we'll have a next speaker with that. Thank you. Jenny Pnusoy. Yes, I hear you. Please.
Everyone, I'm Jenny Pnusoy, and I'm currently pursuing my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, and I'm in my 6th semester.
Here comes another post as a student. So I was also produced as students. So I can relate that to you and every one of us. But what is your sense of Nagaland does not like the human question this?
So we have been witnessing that the unemployment rate in Nagaland has been escalating by over 65%. In 2023 to 2024. And this indicates that the problems faced by the youth in finding jobs. And I would like to point out some reasons that leads to unemployment rate in Nagaland. And so the first one is the lack of skills and commitment. Which will help us to get employed. We lack that, and also that's my opinion base. And we also see the growing reliance on the government jobs. As everyone, we think that the government is the only job which seems secure and stable. And also even our families and the societal pressures. How do I say? It discourages. They want us to go for this for these prestigious jobs, and this discourages the individuals to choose these alternative career options. But when we have this right attitude and mindset, I think we can address this issue. And also we have this traditional mindset, as we call it, a societal debt, where we look down on the smaller jobs, where every one of us, I think majority of the people, we look down on the smaller jobs. And this belief makes the people feel inferior or wanting to go for more than hungering.
Like the one thing you opt for a white collar job,
Yes,
and
yes.
all this blue collar that I we discussed.
Yes. And see, sometimes I have observed some people.
So do you think societal pressure and societal perception of how an educated person, what the kind of employment that an educated person should be opting for is what we're about? And we all are being pressured by societal perception with that. And we all gave in. Give into the societal pressure. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So how would you like to transform this then?
When we have the right attitude, when we have a positive attitude, that we can, we can just go for things that we are interested in to earn our livelihood. It's not only about government jobs. We can also offer other things where we are interested in. If we want to go for this selling vegetables, yes, you can go on. If you want to go for this beautician, if we want to go for all the small jobs that we call that these jobs as small. We consider it as small, right? Yes, but
Are you willing to go sell vegetables after graduating the Bachelor of Arts in Poetry Science? Will you be ready to dedicate to that to sustain yourself?
I have a specific goal, but I also believe that I will be able to do it. But if I can't get that, I will do anything. I will do anything to earn and to sustain myself. Yeah.
I love the readiness. I mean, that should be the GBA concept. But it's easier said than done. As the saying goes by, it's easier said than done. Maybe right?
We should put into practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. I think with this, we'll get back on that as well. Thank you so much. With this, we end the round of discussion. Now the floor is put open for everyone. Let's first figure out, there are some contentions here. Our education system is not to be blamed. It's ourselves, it's our mindset, it's our skills. And where would the skills come from? That's also a question. And do you think our skills should be pursued outside of our education system?
And what are we even doing in the education system for the last 10, 15 years if the skill is not provided in the education system? Why are we spending time, money, everything? So, Kekrukrino, yeah, so she had said that it's playing game is not good. And so that, in her sense, maybe I can also conclude that she will not be even blaming the government for that. It comes down to individual as well. So is there anyone who would maybe slightly differ from what she says or what she stated, or would disagree with her statement? Is there anyone? The floor is open to you.
Open that,
Please. Yeah.
shall I continue?
Yeah, please, you have to. Otherwise your voice won't be heard. Now this is going to be the more interesting part, right? So,
One thing about our education system,
yeah.
which I presume is that our Nagas, we focus more on theoretical, as the previous speaker has said. The teachers, they focus more on completing the syllabus rather than imparting the quality education. Somewhat, of course, they are imparting the quality education, but make sure that the student grab the idea of how that particular theory comes from, or how something like a notion is made up of. But instead, when the time runs, most of the teacher, which I presume, they focus more on completing the syllabus. They can be as well.
Okay.
Independently speaking.
Yeah, I know.
Which I presume.
Right.
And also, one of the things is that we talk about education system in our state. One thing is we don't make use of the ample resources which the government provides.
Okay. Now you're talking about the teachers neglecting the teachers.
Yes.
So that's, I would say that's not system. Or consider that's an individual dereliction of neglecting one's DP.
Yes.
System is in place. Right?
Yes.
System, I would say, the kind of curriculum, the kind of like education syllabus that we teach. You know, who killed Muhammad Ali, for example? What is Satyagraha movement? Those who are learning about it, what is are they going to earn a livelihood with that movement? Who is Agapur? You know, for example, how was the Mughal Empire? How did the Mughal Empire look like when Agapur was the king? It's a knowledge. Yes. But that's the system I'm talking about. So what's your thought?
As before I've said, like the teachers focusing more in completing the syllabus rather than
That's considered as a teacher's negligence.
as a negligence. Okay. But also our education system before you have stated that is a teacher negligence, I would not just totally accept it because it comes under the whole perspectives of the education system as a coma. Also, one of the other thing is that our education system is to be blamed is that we as a student, which I presume, especially with the Nagas, we are not really well acquainted about which career or what we should do in the future while we need it in the nursery or in the high school. Such kind of subject matter are not imparted well. Rather, as you said, focusing more on mathematics or like Akbar's story or the poem William Wordsworth and stuffs. Instead, there should also some kind of syllabus which could provide the students about how we can make a career in life. So, like what I presume is that the education system is in such a way that we just go with the flow. Nah, we just go with the flows. What to say? My friend is going. I'm also going just like that. I'm studying since the beginning, so I'm going to complete it without the knowledge that there is a broad perspective which could be shared by our education system.
So there's lack of career guidance.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing that. Would there be anyone who would like to challenge calls? Or will we add to this?
Okay, so the question that you've raised is about whether the blame game should be there, whether education is to blame. Right. So I agree to an extent where we shouldn't play the blaming game, in a view that we shouldn't do it to in a negative way. We shouldn't blame in a negative way, but blaming should be there to an extent where it makes us accountable. So we are able to be accountable of what are lacking. All right. So in my point of view, yes, education contributes a bit to why we are lacking, but education is not the sole thing that contributes to this lack. We have the students and we also have the parents. Now, first, when it comes to education system, the system itself, I am observing and I'm also experiencing the life in the education system is there are primary focus on pure academic works and lesser focuses on skill developments, right? So basically our education systems are teaching us what we need to know, but not what we should do with it, right? So that is really important, what we should do with it, whatever we're learning, how can we use it in the real world? That there's a lack. Yeah, that is lacking.
So I'm not blaming the education system for that.
I am blaming it,
Right.
okay, but not fully. Because on one part, there's also the students. We, on our part, also, we are clueless, right? We don't know what to do.
I don't know who's hold this.
So I'm
clueless.
Okay, so why we're clueless? I would say our generation, the current new generation, is somewhat unfortunate because there's too many things presented to us. Okay, just a personal opinion. And say in the past there were limited jobs, so people worked for it and they got it. Today we have the government jobs, we have the business, and even in the business industry there's a lot of things. So we know that there are job opportunities. We don't know what we want to do. That's the thing. Like, suppose we could see it in a way where we're going to shopping and there's so many shoes or clothes. You can't take everything. You have to choose one. But we don't know what to choose. So that kind of thing is happening right now with the students.
Who will tell us? Who will enlighten us what would be best for us?
So it is also responsible on an individual level. We should realize it as much as possible.
As a child, I cannot realize it.
As a child, yes.
That's why I need to go to school.
Yeah. So that's why I also told that parents are also at blame.
But parents are mostly illiterate, for example. That's why they send us to school.
Yeah, whether they're illiterate or not, they still play a role regardless in how we are brought up, right? They send us to school so that we can learn, we can do this, and then moreover, they come from a different era as compared to us.
Yes.
So the way they view how education should be and how education should be in the modern world, there will be a generation gap, right? We also, this is also an issue today, right? Generation gap.
We can blame them or we can blame them.
It's really complicated now, right? I wouldn't say, when we say the word blame, we shouldn't look at it in a negative way. We should look at blame as cause for change. We should not say blame, we should say reason or cause. I think that's a better word, right? What is the reason why we are facing what we are facing? And if I would just take a little bit more time, you did mention about considering our brother who is in the mathematics department. You mentioned that he can teach, he can be a teacher, and you asked what about the sociology students, what about the political science students? And I would say that it is the unfortunate reality, but a lot of students who are in college right now, they have not chosen their department because they have an aim or they have a goal to pursue, and they're going into that department so that they can achieve the goal, right? Most of the time, my friends are doing that, so I'll also go. Yeah. Or the one that I want is not there, so I'll offer this. And I'm also guilty of that, actually. I come from a science background, 11 and 12 in Dongyo School.
Was it your choice?
The science? Yeah. Half my choice and half parents' pressure as well. So I wanted to be a scientist actually when I was a kid, right? When I didn't know much about the real world.
Right.
So because of that, I went to science stream. And after that, I took a year gap for NSE. And during all that, I was contemplating, is this really what I want to do? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I could not make the cutoff for the NSCC exam during that time. And so my mom told me to go to college and prepare for the exam while I'm preparing to college. And so I said, okay, at least I'll do something instead of just wasting time on. I personally first opted for economics department. Okay, but the college that I went to did not provide that department, so I opted for political science. Now, why did I choose political science? No other specific reason. And just like me, there are a lot of students, I'm pretty sure, that they're not in the department because they have a reason or they have a goal.
Little reason.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So one message that I could tell to those people that are in my condition is, obviously, as our sisters also mentioned, you can't go back and restart, just the department, right? But what can you do now? What you can do now is taking the help of the co-curricular activities in the education system, as well as outside the education system. Try to, look for opportunities or create opportunities where you have, even this very discussion that we're having is a wonderful opportunity that it's my pleasure to be here. So these kind of opportunities are out there. It is that we need to be willing to go there. We need to be willing to involve on those skill developments, right? So whether you're a political science student, a sociology, a history, or even the science stream, communication is really important. Your communication skills is really, really important. And there's no such department as, this department with this department you have the best communication system. It's not like that. You can learn communication system without even going to college, actually. We have YouTube now, right? So the message that I would like to tell this, youths like me is try to involve yourself where you can, indulge yourself in skill learning, relevant skills that will help you regardless of whatever area of jobs that you apply in the future. So communication skills, the way you interact, your leadership qualities, right? Your quality to adapt to situations. So these are really, really important qualities that you can learn from pretty much anywhere without even going to schools, actually, as I mentioned before. And these are going to help you make very employable in various fields. So that's just one thing that I wanted to.
Thank you for that. And I think we can further discuss on this.
Okay, sure.
Yes, now I would like to give chance to Alright. Thank you, Valuni, for your beautiful practice. He's saying like it is not entirely to be blaming the education system. Yes, because there are roles that parents play, there are roles that whatever factors that we see in our society plays, even individual we ourselves play the role of why we are not employable as one should be or want to be. Does anyone have any differing views or any views? Yeah. Okay. Any weak and quick?
So I'm not speaking only about education, only even about the employment. Since about the talent for entrepreneurship and so on, since everyone, in my perspective, everyone are born with different perspective and different talent, right?
Yeah.
So thus our Naga have the sources to reveal our talent. So when we see one example about the football, just the only this recently the Nagaland Super League release. We have been most Naga youths are known for football. They really like they have skill, right? But we don't have the facility to be compete with others.
Why we don't have the facility? Why do you take long? Is it the government to be blamed again?
Yes, in my perspective, first we have to we have all talent. Not only for the football, we have other opportunity. We have other sources for different things. But just for one example, since only now upcoming, it's the talent has been revealing since the Anderson and so on. And when we even see the Indians, the United, the Man City. Have you heard of?
Yeah. They're on the image of Bolton, but I go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, only that we have a lot of talent. From as long as we have done, we have a lot of talent, and we have engaging the other talent. But for some we have, but for the majority, when we compare to other state and so on, we are like not a lot. In order to reveal our talent, we need right situation, right?
Yeah. We need opportunities.
Yeah. We need opportunity
to display that talent.
Yeah, to show our talent and so on. In some case we have, but in other the backward we have in Naga we have OPC. So in other place there are a lot of in villages they have a lot of skill, but we don't have the facility to reveal our abilities. So I want to say that does our Naga really have the facility? Since majority friends they're saying the entrepreneurship we have to focus, but does we really have a facility?
Great point. So the government comes into the picture, right? Okay, thank you so much. We'll done with it. Before we jump in, Libo.
Yeah. It is cabinet.
No, it's okay.
It's that's it. No, that's the inverter got over.
Oh. Okay. You want to take a break?
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's 1 hour long.
But this voice will be cut out. It looks like if we jump into the Naga political thing, then it will take a whole day. So we'll just focus on this topic and properly conclude this. Okay. Yes, next person. So there we are identifying a lot of causes. The parents, ourselves, society, government, education system. What's your view on that?
Yeah, so firstly, I would like to add later on with society and ourselves. I think I am a student leader myself in my college, and what we often face is whenever there is an event and we need volunteers or like we need voluntary participation in any competition, anything as such. The students, the problem with our Nagas is they do not turn up. They wait for us to come and approach them. And they are like, just take my college for example, there are more than 1,500 students. We can not approach each and every one of them. So we give out the general information. No one will approach. After, no one will give their names after we approach someone and give the opportunity to someone else. Only then the feedback will be there. Like,
Why are you getting?
yeah, like it's always the same person, like it's always the same person competing for the same event and such. So I think the first problem is us. We are not ready to step up. We are always at the back, you know. Even I think I mean, see, especially comparing to the other parts of, just say India for that matter, even the education, we are blaming the education system, but I think we are partly to be blamed because when the teachers are teaching, let me just take a simple example on that. When the teachers are teaching, we are too scared to raise questions. Even if we have doubts, we are like, yeah. And then only after the teachers leave, we are left with, our minds are left with lots of doubts. And yeah, I myself, I also do not ask questions and I am also left with doubts. So I think me and along with me, every one of us need to step up on that. And the second is the education system. I think, yeah, previously they did not have any vocational skills provided, but now with the NEP 2020 and being the first batch of NEP 2020, I think the education system is trying to change, trying to bring those skills. For example, in the 5th semester, they are providing opportunity for, I think some might not know, so yeah, they are providing opportunity for internship where we get to choose where we want to, they give us options and then we have to learn certain vocational skills based on our, how do I say, interest. So I think, yeah, the education system is changing. So heads off to that. And our brother said we don't have opportunities and infrastructure, and he was like saying the government is to be, the facilities, the government is to be blamed. I think the first thing is we are to be blamed. We are too corrupted. We only think about ourselves and how to eat the money. But I think we are partly to be blamed because we do not ask for it. Our people are just silent and we are at the back murmuring and complaining. We do not get the opportunity. But first place is, I think we have to step up, ask for it. We need that, please give us that. And if they do not respond to that, I think only then we can say, okay, the government is not doing anything for us. But the problem here is we do not step up. So
Do you seriously think that people have not seriously asked the government on all these facilities?
some part they have, but then not as serious as they should have. I mean, if we seriously need that, I mean, we could go to measures like lobbying, but I don't think we do lobbying here. And
do you genuinely believe that if you seriously ask government will set up all these facilities in the infrastructure?
yes, I believe so, because but first thing first, I think we should, I think I'm getting way out of the topic, but I think during the elections, we should first go for clean election, because during the elections, we eat up all the funds, our own funds, I mean, because those contesting in the election, they provide money, and at the end, why are they corrupt? I think the main reason is because in the first place, we ate their money, so now they want to recover their money. Yeah.
So in the process of recovery, even if we genuinely ask,
yeah,
they won't do it.
They will do it.
They will do it.
Yeah.
I like the optimism that is in you. It's just that people need to step up and ask.
Yeah, step up and ask.
Does anyone agree with her or disagree with her? That's the thing. That is because the government, we are not asking the government that we're not getting all these facilities to become employable, to have all these opportunities and facilities, because we're not asking. If had we asked genuinely, government would have done it. That's her statement. That's her take. Does anyone vote like it? Discourage? Yeah? Because that was your leftover point.
Sounds,
Let's speak closer to the mic.
my friend just say, but if we ask, then government is going to appear. Like her question.
Right.
So when we say, just I will share the example of my place. Our area, Topo area, our leaders, they did podcasting
Okay.
about the
That's it.
of the issues. So about the issues about the government teachers and like in one institution that is in senior, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, only two teachers, two or more, four teachers, they have to cover more than 50 students. More than 50 students. We have been
Your area has not asked the government.
No, we
You have asked.
just last month we have our leaders they stand for it, and we have been complaining. We have been saying not even our want, but we have been saying our needs to the government, but still the government like to. So then the wait, then it's a serious.
Despite how regularly you have asked, government is not doing it. Government is the culprit.
Yeah, for the notes, but give good for
Thank you. So we will go. You know what we would like to tell is, if we had not asked the government, if we believe that government would happily grant cars, then Dimapur, for example, stadium. That means I believe no one has asked the government to complete that. Would that be true? Now you can share your opinion.
Okay. So before getting into Nagaland, I would like to ask you a question. If the citizens ask the government for something to be constructed or for something to be initiated, should it be the government's responsibility to fulfill that? No, I'm not taking any country I'm not taking any country specifically, but in general,
The role of the government.
yeah, is it the role of the government to, fulfill that?
Government should not come and build our swimming pools, but there are public facilities the government has to fulfill. They get mandate, they get public funds, they get all public facilities to do that based on the policy. That's why we vote. There are respective MLAs to make sure our voices are being heard in that government. So government has a every 100% responsibility for public facilities. Anything that is to do with public, for example, roads. Football stadium. We're going to build a private football stadium. For example, Highport, which is city airports. These are all public facilities. So yes, government is 100% role. That's your.
If I were to reverse that question to specifically public services, government has 100% responsibility, right? Is that situation happening in Nagaland? I don't think so. Not to a fulfilled extent, right? Not to 100%. So the question becomes: is it should we blame the citizens? Should we blame the government? Right? There is a part where we can blame the government, but the government in itself as a system, we can't blame them. There is one really important issue that is going on in Nagaland, and that is corruption. The corruption of the Nagaland. So is government responsible for not fulfilling the wishes of the citizens in creating infrastructures, in creating initiatives, in creating programs? No. Is the corruption within the government responsible? Then that's yes. So I think our focus should be on the corruption of the Nagaland, corruption of the government, sir. So how do we tackle that? As mentioned by sister, we should start it from the election itself, right? it's a very complicated issue. It's not that if you go and elect the proper government, the proper representative, then everything will be solved. It is still not that. It's not simple as that. But we can at least identify that the problem is corruption within the government. So yeah, we can assume that because of that, government are not fulfilling our fulfilling our wishes about this in public services and infrastructure. So I just wanted to, divert our attention from government and citizen to the main problem, which is corruption within the Naga government.
Yes, I think it's a very important point that citizens and government, they play equally important roles. And when you look at it, governments are the representative of the citizens. So at the end of the day, citizens and governments are one. And it's like who goes first? Which goes first, the egg or the chicken? There's no end in that. So it becomes of the citizens and the government, citizens and the government. But yes, that's why the system is corrupt, right? So when the government does not build what it's supposed to build, that's because citizens have eaten up somewhere. Probably citizens have received what they're supposed to receive. But at the end of the day, when you look at actual problems, there are politicians who have lived and who have served and who have got elected in that kind of environment, and there are governments who have the political will and they clean up a lot of mess. Otherwise, the world by nature is corrupt, but some countries are very, very forward and very developed. You know why? Because some politicians took that political will to change something. So at the end of the day, when the government is serious, it helps us in certain way, but they cannot just clean up everything, of course.
So basically, it's like a collective effort from both the citizens,
Absolutely.
as well as the government.
Absolutely. But citizens cannot make policies.
Yeah.
Government at the end of the day have to have the political will to do something. To start the change, to break the chain of corruption, government has a responsibility. But also citizens are citizens are the one who elected those those who in the government. The government has a role to clean that up. So they break the chain of corruption, but the government is not believed because the money political. See if that's my understanding. Okay. Is there anyone who wants to, or you have more thoughts on that?
Not specifically on that, but I'll give chances to others. And
You're already this is right?
I am about
This is very important. Thank you.
Sure.
I think, wait, before you come, will there be anyone that's not taken time? Then you have? Okay, you have it.
Yes, Harishi regarding it, to whom shall we play?
Yeah.
So I would to say that we will play, but later would also that there's always room for improvement, either from from the both side, from the society, from the public, from people like us, from the youth, and from the community. Because like our sister mentioned about the election, during the election, we never look for a good leader. We look for the money. That is our thought. So we are entirely going for the money. So what you expect? The monkey expect. If you elect a person who give money, he will take money. That for sure. So I think it starts from ourselves. But just because we are electing those who give money, they should not work. It is not. We should not go that way. The leaders, they came to the platform. They say that they will do it, whether they give money or not. They have made promises to us. I think they should switch.
They should deliver that.
Yeah. And one more thing, I have noticed that no leader is 100% correct, because next election they have to win, because they have to do.
No leader is 100%.
Yeah, no leader is 100% correct, because in the next 10 years, obviously they have to win, because only by giving money they cannot win. So what I have noticed in India politics is that they give money during the election, but they do little bit for the society, because they don't want to be 100% corrupted. So like 80% they are corrupted, but at least 20% they are good, like providing a free peace. But I feel like free peace, those things are not good for our society. We should work on the reality for the more greater development. Just providing a cycle for 1,000 students, those who have passed in class 10, I think that would be not good in long term. That would not be good. So I feel like we should focus on more in education system. Like I mentioned about the education system, just on the printed page, about the education system, I told you that we should focus rather than only to learning to know, we should focus in learning to do, learning to live life out of it. So, just take an example, and a person who confined in the formal, he studied for 10 years, 5 years, and he become an IPS officer. Can he contribute to the society? I feel no, because puri kita fi puri gina to taki contribute ko. At least he should have some practical experiences, and I feel like if
Obviously, that's the training.
training. About the training, I'll come to see. Just take an example of a government teacher and a private teacher. If you compare the private sector and government sector, the student, mostly in, I'm not talking about the colleges, but in school, the student bodies in the private sector are more good. I'm not looking down on the government, but that is a fake.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So why? Because the training that is given to the government teacher are more better than the private sector. But what we lack here is dedication and hard work.
Yeah.
The love for the job.
Right.
They join not because they love the job. They join because they love the salary. They join because they love the money.
Right.
So I believe that
Even private teachers, they join because they love the job, they love the salary, they love money. But what are the differences that between government and the private teachers?
because the government, whether they work or not, they will get salary. But private, they have to work hard.
What is the cause of that then? Like whether they work or they don't, they get a salary. Where is it gone wrong?
I think
Because you should not be getting salary or anything if you are not working, right? So who is giving the money when it don't work?
obviously the government.
The government. Who elects them?
Government is elected by us, so it is indirectly our fault, like I stated in the first. So, it come to that my point, to my previous point, that we should not only look on the knowledge that we have in the brain, because we elect the teachers because they are good in study.
We select the teacher.
Yeah, we select the teacher, the government. So we should look on their qualities, character, and their dedication.
Dedication.
Yeah.
But everyone before they get the job, they're like, "Sir, I'm going to go. Send me anywhere. I'm going to teach." So how is dedication is? So for another day, there's no teachers during the interview would say, "No, I don't want to go to far place. I'll just teach anything or provoke." People say, if I post this in, for example, from your district, I won't go. No teacher candidate ever come and say it in the interview. So there's a lack of assessing. There's a lack of system in place that will check the dedication of the government employees as well as the teachers. See? So it's all about, it has come down to the system game. So it is never going to, it's going to be never easy topic of discussion. Right? Yeah. Thank you so much for your review. Would there be anyone? Yeah. Thank you for starting this conversation, the play game conversation.
Thank you, sir, for elaborating it more. I think it's getting pretty interesting.
Right.
And they have stated so many points, and I appreciate each point, but I would still
Say to me.
yes, I will still stick to my stance, and I would just like to highlight more, and that is be black or be white, but don't be complacent. We should not encourage complacency. And in this aspect, I want to say that if you don't want to blame, don't blame. But if you want to blame, alright, go ahead and blame. But like I said, if you keep blaming, don't stand in between. If you keep blaming, you get more detached from getting a solution out of it. Say, let's get back to the educational scenario. The issue here is not to blame the education system itself, but here, like one of them has mentioned, accountability, that plays a crucial role, surely. Here, NEP 2020 has also been mentioned, and with reference to those policies, government has already laid down those policies. What the issue here is, the gap in the implementation or the application of these policies. So, who is going to change the status quo? The government has given out the policies already. Say NEP 2020, it has already issued that vocational training should already be integrated within the educational system. So, coming back to the status quo, who will change the status quo? It's us.
What's the citizens?
Yes, us. We have to stop blaming the government at some point. As citizens, we have to, first things first, be aware. We have to be acquainted with whatever changes are coming. In this small instance, be acquainted with the policies that are being implemented, and you as an individual, as a citizen, will be a vehicle, should be a vehicle to implement or to apply those policies. We should not simply rely on the educational scenario or the agencies only to implement or apply. But we as citizens, we should really take up a step further and take it as our own. You know, we shouldn't have the mindset, it's not my problem. Okay, I'm sending my child. He or she's being taken care of by the institution. I have not much interference to that. We should stop that mindset. However possible, be acquainted. And then we should not go for dramatic changes overnight. Rome was not built overnight. We all know that. So we should not look forward.
The French Revolution did take place overnight.
Those are fact evidence we cannot deny, surely. But in this case, in most cases, we can keep on debating, surely, and then instances will keep coming up. But in this sense, I should say that we should not look for dramatic changes, but strive for minute changes. Start small, no problem, start small. A drop makes an ocean, that's it. And then instead of blaming, of course, there's lots to blame here. I can even go and blame the government for my pig dying. That's the thing. Sounds ridiculous, but if we play the blame game, it will go to that extent. So here, my stance is that if you really want to go there, stop blaming. Be the change you want to see in the world. Very cliche, but that's it.
If I were to see more way in the different direction, let's say education is a public subject.
Yes.
It's designed by the government with what to educate. So now when you know that this role of the government is check of the government, I do not come back and blame the citizens for the role that they have been assigned or the responsibility that they have been given and mandated by the citizens.
That's one aspect to look at it. But here's the thing. The government has already played its role of implement. They have considered the situation, the need of the hour, and they have implemented those policies for the better good of the learners, of the students in context. So here they have done a certain portion of their part. Where accountability is needed, they should be demanded. That's for certain. I have no issues with that. But here they have done a certain portion of their part. But for a majority of the part, I believe we, the active recipients, should not be passive with our approach, but should actively engage ourselves.
Should be aware of
Yes.
what we are entitled to.
Yes.
If we're not getting what if we are entitled to, then entitlements, our rights, where will we go?
The thing is, that's where the blame game also comes into play. I'm entitled to this, why am I not getting it? Yes, so we become complacent again, and we go for agencies to blame. But the thing is,
You still not blame.
no, don't blame. Yes, don't blame. If it's a first step to you, take it as a first step, but stop blaming. And then get to a certain point of self-realization that is this possible to change within myself, within my own capacity. I think we should really check ourselves on those grounds. Here is where introspection really comes into play. And I think we as Naga people, to change the status quo, we have to really look into introspection, the aspects of introspection. Yes, that is my stance.
Okay, thank you very much. I like the optimism in your very clear sense that you have. So it's a food for thought for all of us, right? Cool. So thank you so much. Was there any speaker who would like to challenge that at no point of time you should play the karaoke?
Okay. I might sound so pointless and then meaningless, but after hearing from my friends, they were discussing about development, food, and then corruption. So I wanted to share my thoughts on corruption and development. My question is, do we really understand what is corruption? That is the first thing. And do we understand what is development? Let me just give an example of myself. I mean, back my community. People talk about development. Development is something that a politician will come over to your place, buy you a new car, build up your buildings, or offer you a job. I think
That's not development.
yes, that is not the
What is development to you?
for me, what I have seen and what I've came across as of today, I think for me, political development, I think the approach road that we are using now, the facility that we are getting in the hospitals and all, and the upgradation of those ADC, EAC posts, is that not concerning? And then people will be like blaming all the political leaders, like there is no proper development. But for me, development is something that those, like I've mentioned now,
And has to do with public ESC, sorry, public benefits.
yes,
It's not just individual. Yes, you're seeing that. Well, that's not the
yes, corruption. Yeah, corruption is, I should say, yeah, everyone, not everyone, but I should say, like, most of the leaders are corrupted, no doubt. That is the clear picture that we can see this in our society today. But one of our friends, she had mentioned about the election of eating out the money and then later on the VMOES and then so. So, see, this is somehow relating with development and that corruption. We are the responsible one. We choose our leader. So while choosing our leader, we should be very wise enough while choosing, so that there is no corruption. Yeah, corruption does exist.
It's just divine control corruption.
Yes, yes,
You know, abolish corruption.
yes, yes. And then, like, I've been talking about balancing. See, we need to balance all those. Only then balance between us and the ones who are representing us. See, we don't need to always give the blame to the leaders who are leading us. They are doing their job, I believe that. And then coming back, earlier I've mentioned about the opportunities. Opportunities does not lack in Nagaland. So just I want to get some few points there. Like, I want to convey this message to all the Naga people, all the Naga brothers and sisters. Like, if we make the best use of our skills, I think employment does exist, and then opportunities everywhere. Then we should know how to build those opportunities, create, and then like execute properly.
Or else to become capable of grabbing the opportunity of this really facilitation.
Yes.
For example, like from governments.
Yes.
Where access there for us to facilitate when they cannot do things. But so we want to become a sports person. But how can you just learn yourself? How can you build the ball field for yourself? How can you give better court for yourself? You can't, because it's too expensive. That's where the only steps in. That's how you hire is and how you display your states. You need a platform. That's a platform.
I think we cannot entirely blame the government for this.
Could be. But why is they say they will build 3 football fields in a year in Belugu? Even one. You will still not play?
For that too, we can blame.
Patients and citizens are not asking what they have not promised. Yes, they're asking what they've promised. And they want to take what they have been promised.
So, like I've mentioned earlier, well, choosing your representative, like the leaders, you should choose them wisely, so that those fake promises and all should not happen in the coming days or like in the present. I think that's the only answer I should say.
Correct. It all comes down to our, choice of candidates and choice of leaders. Yes. But sometimes you don't get good choice. Yes, everyone is the same. So you end up voting or not voting. Even if you don't vote, someone will get it like that. So it's an endless story.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks for review. Well taken. Citizens have to be very careful when making good choice. And good leaders should just jump out of the corporate zone when you have that desirability with transparency and accountability.
Yes, there is one more thing for us public. We need to use a bit of our common sense. And at the same time, the leaders, they themselves need to like give a good effort to what they are doing for the people, for us. Yeah, that's
Thank you so much, Brad. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be quick.
Oh, that. About the recent one, the topic which I have come is about the blaming the government. As a political science student, I have a belief that one of the greatest advantages of a democracy is that it gives the right to vote to every of its citizens. But also, one of the disadvantages is that what if the citizens are stupid? In the sense that they doesn't have any common knowledge about their environment. So it depends on now the leaders which we elect defines our level of intelligence we have and also the awareness we have about society.
That's interesting. The voters should be tested when
Yes.
they're eligible to vote.
Yes.
That's why, in the 18th century or 19th century, women were not given voting rights because the men those time think that they're stupid.
Yes. Somewhat it comes the same way. I'm not saying that the woman doesn't deserve to think, but the vote. But what I'm saying is that the common people, most of us, we lack basic education on how to elect a leader. That's one point. And also one point which is hampering the corruption in our state is the Naga political issue, where the students like us who have been left in dilemma on whether to think like a Naga as a separate state or we should think like an Indian as a patriotic nation. That's also one thing which the Naga movement has led us in dilemma on the other point. And also one thing, the perspective as we are talking about the unemployment, which I would like to express my viewpoint to the current generation and also the elders is that preach what we do, nah? Because taking an example, tagline of yes, do what we preach what we do. Yes, as a tagline, we have been known for like Nagaland for Christ, but it has somewhat become what to say.
The opposite.
Yeah, the opposite of it, where we use the church and the tagline Christianity to cover up our corruption and the wrong deeds. Taking an example, like our state, we are not in civilization like the Indians, which they have come across thousands and thousands years ago, where we people like we in the eastern side, the pigs, they were only put under the pig lids, their home, only during 2000s or 2009. And that's the different civilization we are copying with. So we should be in our own kitchen. And one thing is character development. The government employment, starting from the government employment and the students, the grassroots level, we should all develop the character development. Taking an example like being on time in the office, where like what I presume is going into bank and stuff, the government employees, not only on banks but also the teachers, they are the one who comes late usually. They should set an example that being a responsible servant, they should set an example on the other people, the public as well, the unknown ones. But instead, they want the public, the uneducated, to come and kneel before them and ask for their appointment to meet them and stuff. So, like the Act 2 VIB, on the other hand, we lack work ethic. And also, one thing, we Nagas, we claim that we are good in sports. But what I see is that of course, we are really good in sports, music, and other caliber activities, most of the youths. But what I see is that we need to also maintain our character, even there. Like, once we become a colony champion, we act like we are the star, like Messi and Ronaldo. That perspective should change, and instead we should work more hard and be more humble. That's what we need to do. And also, one of the other things, why there's a blame in systems and stuff is because past days, our parents, they have worked hard, the nurture. There's no such trade and relationship, transportation and stuffs. Our forefathers, they survive by their own. But for us now, our parents are so invested. Even the farmers, those parents, they try to their best to send their children to the to get the quality education. Where now we students, we lack several responsibilities like working hard and earn and eat and stuff. That is also one of the perspectives why we look down on blue collar jobs and we look more high on white collar jobs.
That's a colonial mindset.
Yes.
That means because yes. Thank you so much, Ati. That's very important. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, this.
Sir, I would like to add one more point with regard to education system. And so I have come across some of the students complaining that they don't receive proper resources. And it is very important to recognize the
the teachers are highly qualified and they have the capable with their sincere efforts and dedication, they can bring positive or strong, great student outcomes. And if we really want to have, we all want a well-educated and capable citizen society, right? So if we want that, it starts with ensuring a strong foundation to that every student should receive a strong educational foundation. And also, see, we live in a digital era where every information, college updates and school updates are passed through these mobile phones. And I think that not every students get access to these opportunities. I mean, they struggle, some of the students, they struggle to afford one, and that is really, how do I say it? That hinders the growth of these students also, and they might miss opportunities and these opportunities and also some important informations. Yes, that's what I just wanted to because
infusion of technology and that really helps improve the learning of students. Very, very important. Yeah, just
Yes. Okay, I'll just take a short time. So, since all of this started with the blaming game discussion, I just wanted to clarify. I think it was just a matter of semantics, interpreting what blaming was. Yeah. So if we look at blaming as in holding someone or something accountable for something they did not do, and I fully agree with her. There's at no point there should be a blaming game, right? But I just wanted to clarify that, and that I was taking a much, general perspective where there should be a point where something or someone is put accountable so that further progress can be made. So I just wanted to clarify on that. And secondly, coming back to employment, since this is the whole topic is about employment, there's a need to change our mindset on the way we perceive what employment is. And so that's one. Second is employment is not just about the availability of job, but also it is about the preparedness, being ready for that job.
the ability to create one.
That is also, yes, very much included. So if anyone out there thinks that the concern for employment should come after your education is done, then you're wrong. And that's probably the reason why some of the immigrants did. According to me, employment should start from wherever you are now. You should start preparing from now.
Yeah.
Whether you're in class 10, 11, 12, or whether you're in the first year of college or in the last year, you can prepare for employment now. So I just wanted to, emphasize on the point that employment is not really about the availability of job, but also you need to be prepared. And like you mentioned, to be able to create a job for yourself. So I just wanted to put more emphasis on that and then clarify the blaming kick. Sorry, thank you very much.
Which one? So thank you. In blaming is just a very ordinary common man language. In other words, like you said, is faulting someone accountable or the work they have been assigned you to do. And if you are assigned, to take care of your, like say, pigs by your parents, and when they return the next day, you have not fed the pigs. The parents will blame you that you are responsible for this. So I would say not necessarily becoming, not in terms of cynicism, like you are just saying any negative things about the culture of mind. This is because of, but yes, all this one accountable. In civil term, it's a blade that we evil skill to someone. So if things are getting clear, thank you, Valerie. Anyone left? Yes, last thought, and we will conclude this.
So, once one of my friends, she told that you should not blame the government. The government did what they want, what they have. But when we see our state itself, why there are two parts of Nagaland? When we think of that, I never want friend that you should not blame. We should blame. We should not not them for extra, but we are planning for our own rights. Like, even when we see our own state, there are two parts. One Nagaland is for more development, and another one is to prepare ready. And even when we see about the education system, even in the, when so to say, Eastern part, if we don't blame them, shall we continue that our own state in the two part? Shall we keep observing? Since even our Indian Constitution, fundamental right part 3, make clear provide each and everyone to stand for our right. So I want to say is that in order to stop a blaming game, the leader should do his work in our duty, so that our Nagaland can further go in development and to unite as one, not in a two part in a backward outside.
All opportunities for distribution.
So I want to say that we need to plan, or even if we don't plan, the leaders should know their own rules and so that it will be satisfied, it will be equal. Right? You can see.
So it's been very helpful and it's very insightful listening to all your thoughts and views. When it comes to government and not delivering their responsibilities to us, it's just like you go to a party and you're not served, and you feel entitled that you're also to be served because you've been invited. And now when you don't get your food, you're like, hey, I haven't got my food. Where is it? Who has it? They will give it. And you have to ask the host to give it to you. Because you are entitled for that. So I think we can, if we have to define it more positively, we can look at it that way as well. So thanks so much. It has been very enlightening. And the last remarks that you made about the eastern side as well as the central side, that can be another huge topic for debate. We will have to take up in the near future. Thanks so much, and very insightful. And I really appreciate and admire the intellect and thinking capability that you have. Let's keep it up. Read more and learn to debate more. Only when we debate, we see it mirrors our weakness. It mirrors our, lack of capacity to think at that very moment, and to think on things, to rationalize things. It really mirrors our weakness or inability to think rationally when we start having debates. But just within yourself, just by yourself, sitting in your room or taking part in the bathroom, we all are intellectual, we all are smart and brilliant. But when we bring ideas together and try to prove your points, not just for the sake of proving, but just to make a point that what you believe is true, that's very important. And when we lose the ability to prove what you think is right, then wherever you go, people will look down on you, people will manipulate you. So I strongly believe that youngsters like all of us should be able to prove why we think is right. And should be able to rectify when we realize that what you think is not actually right. So that's very important. And for the things that you believe is right, keep vouching for it, keep advocating for it, and then a day will come when you're actually right, people will see that you are right. But when we don't have stance in life, people don't know you as one's unique entity. You are like so malleable. Someday you will sit this side, someday you will be sitting on the other side. And people don't respect that. You will respect what you stand for. And as a man and woman, we should have our own stance based on logic, based on critical thinking, based on data, based on rational thinking, not just based on the biases. So let's learn to get rid of all our biases and have more evidential conclusion and evidential thinking other than having own biases. And we have a lot of biases in life. Every individual has biases, and let's make sure we reduce those biases and invest more in critical thinking and rational thinking. So thank you everyone for joining in this conversation, and you guys made history to be part of the first ever conversation. Thank you so much.